Welcome to Some Topic, the podcast where two dangerously underqualified individuals tackle an ever-changing buffet of subjects we have no business discussing. From global politics to ghost squirrels, nothing is off limits, and nothing is properly researched. We are your hosts, two voices with microphones, a Wi-Fi connection, and just enough confidence to sound like we know what we're talking about. Spoiler, we don't. But that's never stopped anyone with a podcast before, and we refuse to be the first. Every week, we plunge headfirst into topics both serious and stupid, usually at the same time, armed only with sarcasm, caffeine, and a dangerous overestimation of our own coherence. Whether it's philosophy, politics, pop culture, or paranormal rodents, we approach each subject like two raccoons who broke into the Library of Alexandria, knocked over a torch, and now insist the fire was enlightenment. Our findings? Improvised. Our sources? Suspect. Our method? Whatever we yanked from our asses while marching proudly up the hill of stupidity, ready to fall honorably in the fog of ego, ontological confusion, and the blood-slick ruins of abandoned discourse. It's too late to turn back now. Your descent has begun. And we, your casually deranged hosts, will guide you in style straight through the crumbling ruins of reason. Listener discretion is enthusiastically advised. This podcast contains strong language, stronger delusions, and a persistent disregard for intellectual safety. If you're easily offended, chronically literal, or spiritually fragile, please relax your chakras, unclench whatever needs unclenching, and consider yelling at a tree instead. This is not journalism. This is not education. This is comedy. This is play. This is Some Topic.
What am I asking him?
FU and binary.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that was it.
111111110.
No.
Oh, then what is it?
I just said it.
Well, then say it again.
I gotta get the cadence right. 1 second. 111111001 10100001111. I'm pretty sure that's FU and binary. I'm also just completely pulling that out of my ass.
Okay, so to say FU in binary, you have to convert each letter to its 8-bit ASCII binary code. So F becomes 0100110, and U becomes...
Oh, did I have it backwards?
01010101. So you'd write it, and it would be strung together as 01000 11 00 2 10s 101. And that's how I told you to go fuck yourself in code.
Welcome back to Some Topic, where we learn how to cuss each other out in binary because we're too stupid to learn Morse code.
But we're just smart enough to ask the Google on how to do what we're trying to do.
Sure. Speaking of asking Google things, you probably don't need to ask Google about this. Do you think it's A, perfectly fine and safe,
C,
or B,
I'm locking in my answer,
best going to burn down multitudes of townhomes,
or
C, also going to murder some people? A live wire in a live junction box with no cover, no nothing, that somebody had cut, so they saw it and cut it, sitting inside multiple birds' nests in somebody's attic.
What?
Yeah. So,
like, did this just happen randomly? Or
this is the journey I've been on these last few days. And thank goodness that this particular client of mine has known me long enough to trust everything, because I cannot imagine starting off with this will probably be like a $1,600 project or whatever. And yeah, I decided to cap her out at $3. I'm not going to charge her any more than that.
Oh boy.
But the cost has continued to go up. So
can we backtrack? Like,
yeah.
you arrived on scene, and this was the dilemma?
No.
Or how did this come about?
No, this was a discovery. Oh. So this is why I always split my jobs into two segments. The first segment is always materials and discovery, and the second segment is always labor. Because I keep finding out the more you try to do raw estimates and stick with them, the more you're getting fucked over on numbers. And the more that you are encouraged to shortcut things and not make things right when you're right there and see it. So initially, this customer wasn't even going to mention that her garage had peeling paint everywhere and everything else. She had called me for like an outside lamp that she wanted to change out. And, oh no, a ceiling light fell out. And a couple other really small, minor, not very important things. But all things that would annoy most of your females in life.
That annoys the fuck out of me.
What does?
Everything you just said annoys the fuck out of me.
You're welcome.
I would want that changed.
Well, no, anything I say normally annoys you, so I couldn't tell whether it's, what I just expressed annoyed you or that fact that I'm expressing.
No. You're just annoying.
You're welcome.
And
I'm here to challenge your temperance.
it's nothing against you. Honestly, just go fuck yourself.
You said it wrong.
I know I did.
It's nothing personal. I just fucking hate
hate
you.
you.
There you go.
I know. I mess it up so that way it annoys you.
Sure. Now, when she happened to mention, oh yeah, and my garage has some peeling paint, we go in there and every single screw head has delaminated paint and every single seam has cracks, joint seams. That is normally indicative of one of two things, either A, improper installation of drywall and paint, or B, moisture. Now guess what the geniuses who built this townhouse did with the dryer vent?
They didn't install proper ventilation?
No, it's vented directly into the garage. Now, it's not a fire... Well, it's kind of a fire hazard, but not that big of a fire hazard. It's two things, though. Extremely inconvenient, because you have all the lint just on your garage floor. And it turns into cement over time, by the way.
Does it?
Yeah, don't use fabric softeners. It clogs up your ductwork and causes a fire hazard. Number two.
Need to reevaluate everything I wash now.
We're already in Missouri. It already gets pretty damn hot and humid in the summers. And you're
Barely.
venting your dryer directly into this enclosed space.
Okay, maybe.
So anyways, this all starts to snowball when I notice some black mold in one of the corners.
Oh.
So, well, it's kind of normal. If there's water damage, there's going to be mold somewhere. But this was relatively well spread. Luckily, it was all on the same sheet of drywall, though. So I only had to buy one sheet, which was pretty nice.
It wouldn't get behind the other, or it wouldn't get into other
It could.
tight places.
If it was to spread throughout the joists, the ceiling joists, and if it continued to spread, then yeah, it could spread to other things. Like if left unattended for a couple years, absolutely it's going to keep spreading. It's bacteria. Welcome to it. They like to divide and multiply, if our listeners don't know that. Some would say divide and conquer.
Did you know that in wastewater treatment, they want you to have bacteria, like healthy bacteria, because they're polishers and they actually eat up other bacteria? I think it's protozoas, if I remember correctly from my studies.
Well, if you call any septic company, they'll tell you too, for free, without having to go to college. You can buy packets of them.
Can you?
Yeah, they're free.
Why would I buy them?
If you have a septic system, you should. It'll keep your septic healthy. Anyways, especially if you have a leach field, then you really need one. Anyways, so directly above where this mold was, surprise, surprise, I found what was probably a good decade's worth
Oh boy.
of nests,
Why is it a
along
decade?
with decomposed bodies. Now, obviously, ta-da! That's where our mold came from, was continual critter droppings, right in that area. Like enough to where the pneumonia had literally started to crystallize on the sheeting for the roof and everything else.
Are you wearing a gas mask?
Oh, fuck yeah, the whole time. I'm in a monkey suit, zipped up, respirator, all that shit.
I'm gonna say that's not good for your lungs.
Well, there's also a reason why I only do black mold remediation when customers aren't in the house. just in case there's somebody with an immune system compromisation or something like that, or if somebody's even got a cold. Heaven forbid if there's an infant in the house. I don't need to aerosolize and particleize that stuff with anybody else around. Was able to get that taken care of, but when I started ripping out the drywall, I saw a nice little electric line. Now, normally I wouldn't think anything of it, but it was connected to a metal junction box that was just wide open and I could see wires sticking out of it. So I said, you know what? Before I start pulling out all this flammable material and before I just yank on this wire, let me grab my non-contact voltage tester. It was live.
Oh boy.
Which was very surprising. So then I had to get what has now been dubbed the most used Christmas present before Christmas in the household, which is a circuit tracer.
And?
So for the, I don't know, like 7th time since this thing has arrived, I unwrapped it and took it with me to use. We have since, my mother has since decided to just throw it in a bag. It's a nice sack, like it's a Christmas sack, but she's done wrapping it.
I cannot wrap it for an 8th time, Sam.
So, anyways, luckily I had this thing because whoever wired this townhouse must have started off with like 4 outlets and 2 lights because everything is pigtailed off of everything, Like, even the guys who had to go in and replace her entire breaker panel about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago,
okay,
they had to put connecting bars on almost every single breaker, which is not normal, nor should you do it. It's something you would do with.
So what is it? Hold on. What is a connector bar?
It's something you would normally do on a breaker set that's feeding something that requires 220 instead of 110 power.
Okay.
Because you're needing 2 separate circuits of power to power it. So you would put a connecting bar so that way one side couldn't be tripped and the other side wouldn't and whatever else. They had to do that to almost all of their breakers because this bathroom was actually pigtailed off of the dining room, which was actually pigtailed off of this room. So they had to... Either way. So that way you wouldn't accidentally flip a breaker in one room, but still have something live in there.
Why is she still living in this house?
This
Is it a
particular
rental?
client will be looking for a new property soon.
Okay, so is this a rental or what is it?
It's a townhome.
Okay.
Additionally, the road that's right next to that property. Well, no, we'll start from square one before I tell you the whole horror story and how all this has developed.
Is this not the entire horror story?
Not even close.
Oh, Lord.
This is where it started. So anyways, I throw my circuit tracer on that bad boy, and I start marching around the house trying to find everything, and the receiver is just going nuts, like all over the place, and I can't figure out why, until later on when I figured out that everything was pigtailed on everything. And so this wire is shooting through the attic straight into one of the bedrooms.
Okay.
So logically, I assume it's pigtailed off of an outlet, which is normally what you would do in a situation like that. So I go upstairs to the 2nd floor and start pulling outlets off the walls. And because of the tester, luckily I don't have to disconnect anything. I just need to pull it out enough to where I can see the individual wires so I can figure out exactly which wire is which and which one's connected.
Okay.
Now, if you've ever used a circuit tracer, it gives you 1 to 99 count, and it gives you a measuring bar on the side so you can tell signal strength. Neither of these outlets were pinging anything above 46, which is not comfortable enough for me to then rip everything out of the wall and go hunting because, yes, that's where my wire is. So I keep tracing, and I end up marking out like literally a 1 square inch section where it's the hottest spot inside the wall in case I have to cut a hole. But this time, when I go to walk downstairs, because I want to try to trace it through the ceiling instead to see if I can actually find where this goes, my receiver goes nuts right when I'm at the front door.
I'm trying to envision what sound this thing makes.
Beeps. And obviously the higher in number, the more rapid the beeps are.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Sounds
like a
alarm.
bomb.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just found out my alarm sounds like a bomb.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, something's got to get Ahmed out of bed in the morning. Anyways.
Is that why my alarm says
What is normally next to the
Allahu
front door?
Akbar? Praise God.
What's normally next to the front door in most houses?
A window?
No.
A wall?
Something that requires electric, Nick.
A light bulb?
My God.
Dude.
What controls the light bulbs, Nick?
I don't know. The doorbell?
Light switches, you dumb piece of wonderful man.
I can't give it to you.
Now.
I can't just give it to you.
My thing starts going nuts on one of the switches. Now, what most people who don't use circuit tracers don't know is it's using the batteries inside of the thing to send super tiny pulses through the lines. So that way it works if the line is energized or de-energized. So that way you can trace things that are live or dead, no issue. Well, what that also does is on a lot of your modern lights, since they're LEDs or high efficiency bulbs, that extra couple of volts coming through will make everything flicker.
Okay.
I flip that switch and every single light in the kitchen starts flickering. I flip it back off. I say, no way. I open the front door. I look up at the porch light. And it's a porch light switch. So I pull that that switch out, and I'm testing every single wire. They had 5 different wires pigtailed to this switch, by the way.
Did they?
It was really, it was weird. It's not how I would wire things. I'll put it that away.
What is the upper limit of how many pigtails I can do?
When you start seeing smoke,
Oh,
there's issues. Now, I don't have my code book with me, otherwise I could tell you exactly. But this is why I have code books. It tells you these things. So then I pull out the porch light, and sure enough, it is pigtailed. I'm like, okay, great, fantastic. So every single night, for however many years she and her daughter have lived there, they have had a live wire nested inside of nests.
ugh.
And whoever disconnected it, again, here's what's annoying. The junction box literally had half of the wires pulled out. Somebody had pulled these things apart, but still left the hot wire nutted into the rest of the line that's going back into the house. So I have an end of an extension cord, basically, that's energized, buried inside this nest. And I also have a junction box that's wide open with nest on top of it.
I'm trying to envision all this. And it just sounds like ass.
Yeah. So, at best, you would have burned down not just that unit because it's in the middle of a row of 10 or 12.
Well, how old is this townhouse? You had to guess.
85. I
Really?
think it was built in 85.
So, I mean, that's a kind of questionable.
Not really.
No, I mean,
Here's
how were
the kicker.
electrical people back then? The electrical
No, it has
contractors?
nothing to do with that. This has everything to do with the builder cutting corners.
Oh,
On top of that, when we first discover that and everything else, and it's great, wonderful, fine. When the client comes home, I tell her the journey that I've been on that day, because that's an extra 7 hours of advanced electrical troubleshooting. Now, luckily, I didn't have to cut a single exploratory hole in anything, which is fantastic. That's why that present has been the most used Christmas present before Christmas. Secondly, when we start talking about the wonderful journey I was on, she's like, you know what? I've always wondered about my toilet in my bathroom. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, when I'm sitting down getting ready in the morning, if I look at it, she's like, I always think it's crooked. I'm like, what do you mean crooked? Not squared to the wall makes sense because that's just lazy. You didn't fucking square up your bolts. But, but also crooked just could mean too many things. So we go upstairs into her bathroom. It's the floor.
the
And it's
floor.
not just the fact that the floor is slanted. The floor bows and dips in places. Then she's like,
So
oh yeah,
water
what do you
damage?
think about this area over here? Which is right next to her bed. And you can feel that the joists have given out in that area. So she's had at least 3 or 4 floor joists that have failed in that property. We go downstairs to the living area, which is directly below the bathroom and bedroom, and you can see the stress fractures in the ceiling above. On top of that,
Oh boy.
because I have her looking up, I start pointing out everything else that's wrong because I want money. Hire me, fix this. You're welcome.
Stupid thing is you can't fix it.
Well, yeah. So then I start pointing out all the trim work. And I'm like, oh my gosh, your whole house is slanted. I'm like, this can't be. So I look out the front door because the adjacent unit, the foundations are in fact attached. So I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And I pause to think about it. The road that these units are built off of was never intended to be a 3-lane road. It was always just a small, basically horse trail of a road.
Well, I wonder if
they probably never compacted the road correctly and the ground correctly. And where this is located, they are in the floodplain anyways. So this whole row of units is sinking and dipping towards the road. And with hers being a middle unit, it's getting bent and twisted in all these fucking directions.
It makes you wonder if they designed that entire area that the townhouses are on for not necessarily 100-year flood, but for the correct amount of, I guess you would just settlement. Like what was if it was 1985, what was the settlement that the engineers calculated for that given time frame for 2020,
Probably
whatever the
nothing.
fuck.
Either way.
Oh boy.
Either way.
Sam makes money because somebody fucked up.
Well, we haven't even gotten to the fun parts. As I was discussing with this client, because this client is more or less a family friend. They're a friend of a friend of a friend kind of thing. We start discussing, is this a big issue? Like, will the floor fall today? Well, she doesn't have small children. So I told her, as long as you don't put a trampoline upstairs, you're probably fine for the next 5 years. But at some point in the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be a complete gut rebuild, structural engineer needing to come in. Like, this is going to turn into a massive issue. It already is a huge issue, but the last inspector somehow fucking passed this shit. So we'll just do the same thing and pass it along to the next person. So anyways, circle back to the original job I was called for, which was, the ceiling paint in the garage. They also used mesh tape, which is a big no-no. And they also used the wrong type of joint compound. I can tell that they were using a setting type compound, which is fine.
Was the building grandfathered in?
No.
Well,
even if it was, the number of people living there now,
mm-hmm.
and the amount of times that these properties have been bought and sold, there is nothing that would protect a seller or builder from all of this stuff that's gone on. So very soon, probably the next 10 years or so, we're probably going to see in the news a massive class action lawsuit against the builder and against the inspectors.
Well, do you think that the builder's still around?
Yeah. I'm not going to name names, but yes, they are around, and they are very... They are marketed as a luxury home builder, and when I tell you that every single property I have been on of theirs is some of the shittiest, shoddiest work that I've ever seen, like, their finishes look fantastic because their finished guys are good at what they do. But everything behind your walls and everything behind the masonry work and everything that they're doing on your pergolas and patios and gazebos, because they only build mansions, it is so shitty. And it's just going to fall apart. And it blows my mind that they're getting away with this. But either way, circling back, you don't use mesh tape on entire ceilings and joint seams, and you use them on smaller repairs when you're using hot mud.
Okay.
And you want to use mesh tape because it does help counteract bubbling, because if you use hot mud with paper tape, it'll probably bubble and some other things and whatever else. So it is the easy way to do it. And it probably looked fine for like the first 3 years, maybe. But it allows too much moisture transfer. And it allows moisture to sit and pool in your joint seams. And They obviously didn't even take mud over their screws because it's obvious that the screws were condensating just with extremes of temperature, and that's what caused all the paint to delaminate in those areas. So by the time that I got done scraping and peeling, every single seam had been ripped out at this point. Almost every single screw head had been scraped off, and like probably a good 10 to 15% of the ceiling of the drywall paper itself had been delaminated. So just in peel stop alone, we were already at like $120 worth of peel stop. Just to start repairing the rest of the ceiling. Then to get started on the rest of the ceiling, because it's basically refinishing an entire ceiling, that I now have to go back in and do all my repairs with hot mud and then do everything else the right way. It turned into like 3 extra days. Well, exactly 30 hours now. 30 hours of work that should not have existed in the first place. So, and this client is close enough to get the friends and family, which is 40% off labor. And even with that, we were reaching above $3.5, almost $4,000 just for repairs and remediation for mold. When I'm up in the attic, because I'm peeking to make sure there's no more nests or anything, and I'm checking all of the wire blocks along all the ventilation holes in the attic, I noticed that their slanted angle beam for the peak of the fascia in the front of the house.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a raccoon intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 3. The bin giveth and the bin taketh away, usually depending on pickup day.
I need to address a structural issue within the intern nutritional program. We refined caffeine protocols, we've implemented recovery measures, but one variable remained unstable: baseline nutrition. You can't build sustained performance on coffee and regret alone. You can optimize spikes, you can mitigate crashes, but if the system is depleted, you mistake stimulants for sustenance. Performance wasn't just chaotic, it was inconsistent. That's when we introduced Zevo Life. It's a patented microalgae designed to support steady energy, digestion, and overall vitality, helping your system operate consistently instead of constantly compensating. Packed with essential amino acids, vitamins A, B12, E, and K, antioxidants, minerals, and bioactive compounds, all within a single teaspoon. It's not stimulation, it's foundation. We added it to the intern's daily allocation, and the Intern Nutritional Authority has adopted it into long-term protocols. You can get 30% off your entire order when you use code TOPIC at zevo.life. And for transparency's sake, like a raccoon gazing into the future through a rearview mirror, we'll tell you plainly, the show earns a commission when you use code TOPIC. So you're not just upgrading your nutrition, you're reinforcing the structure that carries you through life's impacts. Nick, myself, and the Intern Nutritional Authority thank you for investing in the long game.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a raccoon intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 1. In the beginning, the trash was without form and void, but raccoons saw that it could be organized.
Isn't attached to anything. It's just sitting there.
It's supposed to be attached?
Well, that one very important 2x4 is what stops your roof from being able to get ripped off in a tornado. Because roofs only get ripped off and disconnected when air is able to punch in through a peak and then get underneath the roof and lift the whole thing. That's what that one singular board is supposed to do. Doesn't really do its job well when it's not attached to anything. So I also get that fixed for her. And while I'm crawling around in this attic, mind you, it's a garage attic, so there's no space, there's no room. It's a townhouse, so it's a two-car garage, but the attic is half peaked and half sloped because it also connects with the neighbor's garage. So I'm getting stabbed in the back of the head, in the back, by all these nails coming in through the roof and whatever. And I'm also trying to spider crawl over everything. And these fuckers use 2x3s. Now, the house being built in 85 makes sense, but they just had their roofs replaced. And they're also getting all their siding replaced because of hail damage from these last storms. What fucking builder goes back in with 2x3s? And not 2x4s? Anyways, a good 30 to 40% of the nailing plates in that attic weren't even hammered in. So half of the joists and everything were just twisting and bending in the wrong directions. So I fixed all that too, because I'm already in your attic, and I'm not going to leave, again, it's not how I would leave my own house. So I'm not going to leave one of my clients' houses. They're actually paying me.
Well, yeah.
So I end up spending almost 6 hours trying to Spider-Man crawl through this attic and fix everything. And then I finally go down to my client and chat with her. I'm like, okay, I think I finally found everything that's wrong. I think I can finally give you what the final estimate will actually be. So last night when I was doing her paperwork and whatnot, I saw what those numbers were coming out to, and I was like, nope, I'm just capping her at 3. She already gave me $500 on materials. You only owe me another $2,500. I'm not charging you more for shit that you've already inherited from someone else, especially since the plan is to move very soon.
Yeah. So what?
Oh my goodness! And she paid these dipshits to do her bathroom when she moved in. And when I tell you that these tiles look like a fucking in-motion Tetris game, these fucknuts don't know. They even grouted all their transitions of plane. Anytime you have a change in plane, you're supposed to silicone the gap. You can put grout back there if you feel like it, but it needs to be tucked in enough to actually get a good silicone bond and a good silicone bead. No, these fuckers grouted the ceiling joints and the corner seams and everything. It's like, dude. And they didn't even wash it well. You can see the bulges and ripples in their grout even. The cubby in that shower, most cubbies are square or rectangular and have, 90-degree corners, right?
Okay. Well, they're not 90 degrees.
Yes, they are.
Well, they're rounded.
It's a rectangle. No.
Isn't it?
Inside the cubby, it's normally squared off. You can have round ones, but that's not the norm.
I've only ever seen the round ones.
Oh, you've only ever seen drop-in showers.
Correct.
I'm talking about tile. When you tile in a cavity for soap or whatever else, it's almost always square or rectangular. Well, they cheaped out and they used, trim pieces for their corners and whatnot, and that's fine. That's not a big deal, especially for a budget bathroom. They didn't even connect in the corners. And they weren't even straight with anything. And get this, they still haven't come back to fix the bathtub. You can't stop it up. The stopper that they used obviously came with the kit, and that's fine. That's not that big of a deal. But they had to make alterations, supposedly, to the floor and raise the tub up by an inch or two, which means that the stopper bar, the connecting bar from the stopper, your toggle, all the way down to the actual plug, isn't touching anything. So she's never been able to stop it up and actually take a bath.
So what was the point?
They keep telling her, oh, we have to wait for a part. Oh, I'm on other projects. Oh, this. And this has been going on for 2 or 3 years. And it's like,
wonderful.
Okay, I probably have a spare one somewhere. I'm just going to bring a push stopper and we're not going to worry about it. Because almost all of them nowadays are spring-loaded push stoppers anyways. Because, again, the less moving parts, the better. And the less things in there to get clogged and tied hair around and everything else, the better. So just, oh, what should have been a relatively quick and easy, hey, I'm just redoing the paint in your garage, and then in between cure times and coats, I'll dip inside and do all these other little side projects and whatnot. That way I don't have to charge you for all this other small stuff. Because otherwise I'd be sitting around digging around on my phone anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turned into a, she'll be buying a new house. And before she purchases it, she'll be paying me to do the inspection. And because I can build to closing, we'll likely have the seller have me do all the remediations before closing day. And then I get to renovate a whole house.
Wonderful. I can't wait for that call. Hey, Nick, I have less than a week and I need you to take off work. I'll pay you like whatever you need to make that happen.
I have Mexicans for that. I don't need you.
Yes, but see.
Now, if you give me your gas card, I'd be happy.
That's a different story.
Well, what's a little corporate espionage?
No, it's IRS.
It's definitely not thievery.
I would never thief or do it a re.
Well,
Now, combined.
I would argue on the re.
Look,
You commit to the re with a hard R sometimes.
I am the re. There's a difference. Mm-hmm. Can I ask you, though? I was told by,
Google.
not Google.
Oh, okay.
This one was actually...
You're on your phone, so I didn't know if you were asking Google, like, how do I comment on everything he's told me?
No, it's more of the... You bring up the electrical stuff.
Yeah.
And so, and you're...
Which blows my mind that people don't take the time to just read a fucking code book. It's not that difficult.
Well, yeah, well, some people don't sit on the shitter for fucking 2 hours and read.
That's not where I read.
Yeah.
I mean, the timeline's accurate, but that's not where I do my reading. That's where I fall into, like, documentary holes and whatnot, and that's how I end up with numb legs. Today on some topic.
How Sam
Do
takes
your
a
legs go
shit.
numb in the bathroom? Here's why. It's because you're in there for fucking hours. Because you fell down the YouTube rabbit hole of some random documentary on how, well, dishwashers work sometimes.
You just have to commit, man.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I have approximate knowledge of many things.
You have
So it's paid
approximate
off.
knowledge of like
It's paid off.
3 fucking things.
Of 3 categories, yes. Houses and construction,
Is that not one thing?
hot tubs and saunas, and violence.
Anything else? I'm Nick.
Sorry, I meant law enforcement.
Same thing. So I have been told that electricians never clean up after themselves.
I found evidence of that too.
Did you?
Now, it was, like, it's 100% understandable, because, again, who the fuck is going to be in the attic anyways? So, like, I wasn't upset by the little trimmings and whatnot that I found in there, too. That's normal.
So
And, like, whoever rewired her house a couple years ago, like, they did a really good job. Like, all the connections were done correctly. It's just...
what would it have taken to actually do it to where you don't pigtail it? Would it have been more expensive?
It would have been, you would have had to gut the house and start over from studs, which probably should have been done so they could have fixed the floor joists, but you know.
Boy. Well,
What's a little wobble in your house?
wobble.
Well, I told her don't put a trampoline in your bedroom and you're fine.
Well, she's not having any crazy sex.
I don't know. I wouldn't judge. Not my chair, not my problem. But that's why I told her, you know, it's not like you have little ones who are jumping around and falling down and everything like that. And I'm like, the occasional heavy object falling probably won't do anything either. But don't put a heavy punching bag up there.
Well, you
or
know
a trampoline.
You know the age-old expression of a chair, right? How many bitches can you get to sit on a chair?
Well, if they're bitches, all of them, because bitches follow commands.
Correct, but
Now, women,
realistically, how many bitches can sit on a chair?
show me the bitch and I'll tell you. Because some bitches don't even fit on a chair all on their own.
Okay.
And others barely take up a quarter of the seat.
A moderately sized gal who is considered a bitch
In 1-to-1.
You got to carry the ego with it.
Or you turn it upside down and you have 4.
Well, that's more, where do you hang your items for storage? Because that's also how you would properly store a fleshlight so it can air out.
Are you insinuating that women are items?
In the words of Vlad Tepes, stick 'em all.
Is that from
My ass, yes.
No. Vlad Tepes. That's the guy from Castlevania.
Oh my god.
Don't you fucking ha-ha me right now, you asshole.
Okay. Vlad Tepes. Oh my goodness, your retard chamber isn't even strapped. That's not an explosion waiting to happen. Anyways.
My retard...
Yeah, on your water heater, the retard chamber isn't even strapped. But that's fine. What's a copper weld that is just holding your whole house together? Anyways.
I'm a little... Wait, whatever.
These are the things I notice, okay? I'm sorry. Now.
Not my fucking problem.
I know, that was a different customer's house. Anyways.
Lord.
Dude, I go into these houses, and I wonder if anybody that has ever worked on this house before had a fucking conscience. Or like a half-assed attempt at integrity. Because how do you not mention these things to the people living there? At least so they're aware of it. Like, even if you can't handle it, I understand. But at least mention these problems. Anyways, Vlad Tepes is Dracula.
Well, I got that.
He is son of Dragul, which is the dragon. And Dragula means son of the dragon. His father was known as the dragon.
I got who Vlad Tepes was.
Yeah, so what do you want from me? It's from history, not from Castlevania. I mean, Castlevania tried to use the historical name, which was awesome. It's part of why it's awesome.
Yes.
But
going back to my earlier point.
Yes, ma'am.
Go fuck yourself.
You're welcome.
You.
That's the goal. But we're in a recording session right now, so I can't.
TMI. An electrician,
Yes.
I've been told.
Yes, they are notorious for not cleaning up
Okay.
and leaving messes.
Well,
tradespeople in general are notorious for leaving messes.
okay. So I went.
She was surprised when I was laying down like protective walking materials.
I think it's just a small thing you can do that just sets you apart from everybody else.
I've been really debating rebranding the entire company towards discrete property stewardship as opposed to just a handyman service. Because to have someone who can truly understand your home and property and will mention things in terms of right now issues, 1-year issues, 5-year issues, 10-year issues, it allows for people to not just form a relationship of trust, but it does change the mindset from reactionary remediation and oh shit calls to, again, let's actually take care of this massive investment that you've already made. So that way we can maximize the amount of money we can get when we go to sell it.
Well, if you're going to do that kind of rebranding, you're better off doing that now because it's so early on. But
Exactly.
doing it later, maybe you could do something to where that's a
It's probably how I'm
subcategory.
it's probably how I'm going to repackage the membership idea is I'll turn those into the stewardship programs because I still need your bullshit normal handyman calls to train guys on.
Yeah.
Because just about anybody out there with any kind of background working with their hands can do 75% of the shit out there in the world. It's not that big of an issue. Their finish work might be shoddy, and they might not know the things to pay attention to yet, but they can get the job.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a Raccoon Intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by.
Trash Theology Sermon 2. Verily I say unto thee, one's worth is not in what they throw away, but what they are willing to dive back in for. I need to address an issue regarding the unpaid interns. While overall productivity has improved, there's a recurring decline following what they described as after-hours research. Translation, excess beverages were consumed. The next morning metrics were predictable. Cognitive clarity, compromised. Regret index, elevated. Sunlight compatibility, low. That's when we implemented liqueur gummies. They're formulated with DHM, which helps your body process alcohol, along with milk thistle, B vitamins, electrolytes, and ginger root to support recovery and hydration. You enjoy your evening, you support recovery. You wake up to regret your decisions with a clear head and a settled stomach. You can get 20% off your entire order when you use code TOPIC at liqueur.com. And for transparency's sake, like a raccoon peering through a kaleidoscope attempting to intuit your future by reading tea leaves, we'll warn you. The show earns a commission when you use code TOPIC. So you're not just protecting tomorrow, you're supporting the continued operational stability of the interns. Nick, myself, and the Intern Nutritional Authority thank you for your patronage. I need to give a brief update regarding the unpaid interns. For last fiscal quarter, their caffeine habits were entirely self-funded through dumpster-based nutrition and used coffee grounds rescued from the trash compactor behind the local prison. As you can imagine, results were inconsistent. Archival accuracy, unstable. Claw precision, questionable. Midday existential collapse, guaranteed. It was a difficult quarter. But that ends today. We've transitioned the entire intern program to Strong Coffee Company. Their black blend has 15 grams of protein, 5 grams of MCTs, and adaptogens like ashwagandha and L-theanine. So instead of spike and crash routines, it's a sustained focus. The results speak for themselves. If you're going to drink coffee anyway, it might as well pull its weight. You can get 20% off your entire order when you use code TOPIC at strongcoffeecompany.com. And for transparency's sake, like a raccoon peering through a mason jar instead of a magnifying glass while searching for mythic relics buried in a landfill, we'll tell you plainly. The show earns a commission when you use code TOPIC. So if you grab some, you're not just upgrading your coffee. You're funding structured nutrition for the interns. Nick, myself, and the Intern Nutritional Authority thank you for your service. We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a Raccoon Intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 4. Remember, cleanliness is next to loneliness. Seek the comfort of clutter. None. That's called chucking a truck. So for like the average homeowner who just needs the one service call or 2 service calls or whatever, then fantastic. That's what I train all my new guys on. And then when they reach a certain point, and when I have clients who are looking for a steward, then I can promote them into stewardship instead, and that way they can be assigned 1-to-1. So they're the only person who's on that property ever. It allows us to learn the rhythms of the house a little bit better. It allows us to understand what appropriate working hours are for that house. My last clients, for example, if I showed up before 10 a.m., it probably would have ruined a lot of their sleep cycles and sleep issues. And so half the time, I was working from like 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. because that was the rhythm of that particular house.
Okay.
This customer, they're normally up around 7:30 anyways. So showing up and starting at 8 doesn't interrupt their schedule at all. On weekends, I show up at 9 instead. Give them an extra hour of peace and quiet. Those small, attentive things are what's really hard to train someone when they're still stuck in an hourly mindset. So I'll probably have to have those guys on salary. because they're essentially on a retainer. With how much I'm charging these clients for the membership programs and whatnot, it's essentially having someone on retainer who can do electric, plumbing, tile work, carpentry, all of it.
You got to have one hell of a training program.
I have things in place and some relationships that I've been building with some other companies around here. So yeah, no, either way, this is just what happens when you have somebody who's just coming in to do a job, and holy shit, if it takes 5 more minutes than what they quoted, they're getting fucked over on their pricing, or their boss is up their ass, or whatever else, so they just move the fuck on. That can't fly. It has been flying, and this is why we have so many problems with new construction and homes and fixer-uppers and everything else.
I actually heard a statistic where even though construction is probably one of the industries that you can go into to make a lot of money, it takes, like, if you go back to like post World War II, but before,
70 to 85, yes.
Yeah, and you start to hear this. I heard the percentage I heard was that it takes 40% longer for us to actually get any type of construction done. So it's just the timeline to do good work.
No. That's
takes longer.
That's entirely taken out of context. The reason for that is the over bureaucracy of construction.
Okay.
That 40% is probably entirely due to inspections and inspectors. Because I can't bring in my drywall guys to even start drywalling until I get the rough-in inspection done. I can't even do the rough-in inspection until I get other inspections done. I can't even get to that until I have the foundation inspection done. And so all these things can tack on 3 days to a full week, if not 2 weeks of delays for nothing.
Well, what about permitting? Would that not factor in?
You have to, that is permitting. Permits require inspections.
Oh.
Permits are you getting a license from the county, city, wherever, to do this work on your house. Now, renovations is what I specialize in because we're not making changes to existing structure. That's when you step into the territory of remodeling, and you should be pulling permits.
Okay.
Technically.
I mean,
just technically, you should be.
Technicalities.
There's plenty of homeowners in situations that don't pull permits, even though technically they need to. I mean, shifting the sink 6 inches. Do you really need to pull a permit to shift your drain line 6 inches? Technically, yes, because you are, in fact, making an adjustment to existing structure, because you're going to have to drill a new hole for the drain line, probably through a joist somewhere. So technically, because of that one singular hole, this now becomes a remodel. You now need permits. You now need inspections. This now, you can tack on an extra fucking $5,000 just for the permit alone.
Ugh.
So it's one of those things to where, because of the over bureaucracy of everything nowadays, and because of, it's gotten this bad. We are so over bureaucrafied to where now even your inspectors, because every title company, every real estate company, everybody has their own inspector who's paid by that company to pass inspections.
Yep.
Not to actually find problems.
Is that why your previous client, who's unnamed, blah, blah, blah,
had as many problems? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't know how this place ever passed inspection.
Very carefully?
No, like, this guy had to walk through there with a blindfold on. Because if he looked up once at the ceiling in the family room, he would have seen structural failure of joists.
LMFAO.
And, like, tiny things. Like, none of the vents on the roof have caps. On any of the units.
Why would you need that?
Your vents should always have a cap on it. A vent cap. So rain doesn't go in the vent.
I guess that would
Now,
make
it's
sense.
not that big of a deal because your vents are venting sewer gas, and so it is connected to your drain line, so water that gets in there does technically go through your drainage system. But you also don't want critters getting in there. And, like, her gutter fell out, or her downspout fell off the second story.
Okay.
You want to know what screws they used to put it in?
Wood?
Now, I'm assuming this was somebody who didn't speak English, because the packaging does in fact say gutter screws. And they are in fact gutter screws. But they're the 1/4-inch screws that you use to attach pieces of gutter to other gutter. Not attach it to a house. So I put some real screws in there to reattach it. And it's just...
I'm not seeing a problem.
It's just the sheer laziness. You know? Like, is it really that big of a deal to climb down your fucking ladder and go to the other box of screws that are slightly longer and put them in? Like, their painter was lazy and just painted over everything anyways, so you could have done it with stainless steel screws and not given a fuck. That would have been better than what they used. So it's just, yeah, it was a journey. It was fun, but I got to use my toy.
Okay.
So it's a lot of fun.
So back to my earlier thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I mean, you claim that you're annoying me, but I'm just here to annoy you.
I just hate that you're wrong.
I'm rubber and you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you.
I know you are, but what am I?
Glue.
I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah, glue. You're welcome.
I know you are, but what am I?
Also autistic.
I know you is, but what it is?
I haven't been diagnosed yet. You don't know that.
I actually got my license in therapy
Oh, good.
last night.
It's a psychologist that can diagnose you, not a therapist. So good job.
And I want you to know that I was therapizing with somebody with a psychology degree, and I told them about you, and they said, yep, you're autistic.
I mean, as I tell every single worker...
It's 3 degrees removed, but it still counts.
As I tell every single worker I ever have to talk to, be it at a grocery store or hardware store, I know I'm certified retarded, but I'm feeling extra stupid today. Can you help me? Always starts it off with a smile.
Okay. So I saw, I was at a startup for a water well near Kansas City.
Okay.
And they were doing the electrical work when I showed up. And of course, because it was a start time of 7:30, they started at 9:30 for the startup on this well.
Okay.
And happens every fucking time. It's annoying as hell. I still showed up at 7:30 and I had to leave around 4 a.m.
To get there.
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Because your company makes you drive too much.
Correct.
Because they're not utilizing you appropriately, as the person that they just paid way too much money to come into their company to tell them has told them.
Yes.
Okay, continue. Want to make sure I was on the same page.
No, we're on the same page.
Okay.
So the client goes, I just want your company here to just press the button to start this well. And in their head, they're going, there's a button. There's a button. And it's, no.
There's a lever, there's a switch, there's something.
What it was is that there is a guy who does the programming for a piece of equipment. And he looks at me and he says, I don't know what the fuck you're doing here. I'm the one pressing the buttons.
Right.
And I'm like, I look at him and I'm like, please take no offense.
I'm just the project manager.
I'm just here because my boss said show up. The client is retarded, and you know everything there is to starting this.
Right.
I am not telling you how to do your job. You know how to do it very well.
That's how you get someone to program your pump a little slow.
Yes. And it took him an hour and a half to do 10 minutes worth of work. Doesn't matter. He charges
Because
by
of
the
the
hour.
customer?
Oh my God, yes.
Because the customer kept interrupting and talking and and questioning and
Yeah, he was an asshole. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. They always wonder why their bills are so much higher. And it's like, half of it's the asshole tax, but the other half is you made me take this much longer.
Correct. And of course, he wanted to do more work, which made my life easier in the long run. But like, fuck you. Why are you making this guy do more work when he wasn't going to do that? You just decided that on the day of. As we're discussing this and doing this work, I saw an electrician picking up his trash.
You know why?
No, it gets better. He had a Milwaukee vacuum cleaner. And I only know that it was a vacuum cleaner because It said Milwaukee. And he was scrubbing the bottom of the floor with all of the wires and that he had stripped and everything that he was trying to do.
Oh, I'm sure.
And
They only do that when customers throw fits.
yes, and he was also an apprentice. So
Yeah, Sparky had to do a little work that day.
So I took a picture of this gentleman and I sent it to my one of my future pain in the asses, and he laughed. If that makes sense.
You know the other reason he might have been cleaning?
I have no idea why.
He might have just bought the vacuum cleaner and wanted to play with it. In all seriousness.
If it said Milwaukee, I was like, there's no way that
They're
that's a
so
vacuum.
fucking expensive for no reason, dude. Like,
I don't know why you
I'm
wouldn't.
blown away by the bucket heads. The $19.99 attachment that you can just drop on any 5-gallon bucket, and there's your wet dry vac.
Really?
Yeah, it's I have 2 of them. That way I can leave them at job sites.
Really?
Yeah.
I might need to see
Like, the
this
filters
next.
clog up immediately, but I'm going to see if I can find a different filter to put on there.
I'm sure we could make
But
one.
even if I can't, I don't care because I primarily use it for wet stuff anyways.
I'm sure we could make one.
No, I don't feel like buying filter material and making a no. I'll find one from somewhere else where I just have to, adjust the gasket.
It was just the first time that I've ever seen a Sparky actually clean up after themselves, and I've been told
It is rare.
and seen. I thought it was non-existent.
You know what was funny? I had a different customer quite a few months back that I reran a electric line that her electricians had just put in. But they didn't bother fucking burying it. So instead, they had their bright, nice, shiny conduit just bolted to the side of her house and retaining wall and then running 25, 50 feet.
Oof.
And then it shot straight to the ground and into the unit that it was powering. I made like $1,300 or $1,400 just burying their line that they had just installed.
Fucking A.
And when the boss of that electrician showed up, because the customer was talking about a couple other things and complaining about a couple things to him, he asked me, he's like, okay, did you just pigtail off of this? I was like, oh no, I did a whole new run. He's like, you did a whole new run? It's like, yeah, that's the right way to do it. He's like, I know, but I can't even get my guys to do that. So welcome to the status of the trades. And that is all for Trade Tiffs, a new series of some topic.
That's yet to be decided.
Trade Tiffs, it's happening. Tiff of the trades.
Okay,
Tiff in the trades.
Okay, you and I both know it's got to fucking run off of some topic, so it's either some trade or trade topics.
No,
Yeah,
some Tiffs.
maybe.
And that's all for this week on Some Topic, the show where logic is seasonal, facts are optional, and the raccoons are 2 paychecks behind. If you're a liberal, please keep your critiques to yourself. Our unpaid interns have adopted a shoot first, shred later policy, and we're in a stand your ground state after all. HR has yet to get back to us with a solution, so stand by. To the rest of you, keep your coffee black, your sarcasm sharp, and your reality on airplane mode. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay caffeinated, and stay just interested enough to keep the surveillance squirrels guessing while we slip out the back.